So I'm going to show you how to make a Maine lobster risotto with English peas and a tomato concasse. So it's a basic risotto. I'm going to show you this risotto technique, how to cook the grain, and in the very end we're going to finish it with the lobster that has been par cooked, English peas, and some of the roe butter that we made to enrich the flavor. Let's look at our ingredients and start this cooking. So I have a nice warm pan here. I'm going to use a combination of olive oil and butter to cook my onions and my shallots. So I want the butter for richness, and I'm going to be cooking these down. And if I had green garlic in the spring, if I had, I could use leeks. If I wanted to, I could use a little bit of garlic. But I'm going to try and keep this as the base of the risotto so that we could highlight the lobster flavor near the end. So I'm going to get this going on medium-high heat to turn these onions and shallots translucent and soft. I'm going to add a pinch of saffron right now. This is going to give it a little bit of flavor, not too much, and carry over with really nice color for this. On the side of the risotto here, I have lobster stock that I made earlier today. So it's very nice, great flavor. And I want it to be hot so that when I'm adding my stock to my risotto grain, it's a hot liquid so I don't stop the cooking of the grain. And then right here, I'm going to make a little tomato salad. Tomato concasse, some olive oil, pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper, fresh lemon juice, lemon zest. I'm going to toss in a little bit of a micro arugula. So this will just be a garnish at the end for our risotto. We'll set that aside. So I add the saffron in the beginning so that it has a chance to bloom with the fats. And this is looking good. I don't want to caramelize the onions. I just want to soften them as the base. As soon as I have a little bit more of a translucency, I'm going to add a cup of my grain, and I'll cook that for a while, and I want to make sure that the grain is coated with the fat. So if you look at it right now, it looks like there's a lot of fat. The reason that's there is that when I cook my grain, it's going to be coated with fat. I'm going to kind of stir fry the rice. That's kind of locking in the starch and locking in the shape so that when I cook it, it will slowly release its starches, which gives its, the risotto the creamy texture. Add in about a cup of the grain. And I'll stir this for about a minute so it coats with the fat. And I'm still doing this on medium-high heat, so I'm kind of stir frying the rice right now. It's just a matter of cooking this risotto correctly. First step is the saute, lock in the starch, and then I'm going to slowly cook it to release the starch slowly. All right. As soon as I start smelling the toasting of the rice, I'm going to deglaze this with brandy. And my first addition of stock is going to be about 1.5 cups to make it quite soupy. And then I'll adjust the temperature so that I'm simmering it slowly so that it can release the starch while absorbing the liquid. And risotto is something you want to stir frequently, not constantly. Constantly would make it too starchy. If I don't stir it frequently enough, I won't release the natural starch of the grain. All right, so bring this to a simmer. It's pretty soupy at first. The next addition of stock will be once I've cooked this down and the grain is absorbed at what we have here. So it's about a 3 to 4 minute between stock additions. So we'll let this sit here, turn it down a little bit so it's a simmer. Okay, so it's been a few minutes and we've absorbed the first addition of liquid. We'll probably do 3 to 4 different additions of liquid, stirring frequently between each addition. And if you look at this, the liquid itself is starting to get starchy. And that is going to be giving us the texture of the risotto at the end. So we want to bring it down until it's almost dry. And then add enough stock to make it soupy again. And repeat the same process so that we're cooking the grains slowly while stirring to release the starches. And this is something that could be made ahead of time, 80% of the way. I'll do this a lot of times where I'll cook it and cool it so it's still al dente. And then when I'm ready to serve somebody, then I'll warm it up again and bring it to the same stage of simmering with more stock. And then I add all my accoutrements, the lobster, the peas, the cheese, the lobster butter, and serve it. So good risotto takes a good period of time to make, but you can do 80% of it ahead of time. All right, so this is what it looks like. You see the liquid's getting a little starchier and the grains are plumping. We'll do our last addition and then come back and finish this risotto. All right, so the risotto is looking like it's about 90% done. The grain has absorbed most of the liquid here. Just a little bit more to go. At this point, I am going to add some of my English peas. These have been cooked al dente. Want them to cook a little bit more. Season with a touch of salt, not too much. We'll finish that at the end. The Parmesan Reggiano is going to add a nice salt to it. We have a nice creamy texture without any butter or cream being in here yet. All right, we'll add our lobster. And I'm going to add my lobster butter, which will cook and help with flavor and color. All right, so our lobster risotto is done. This is what it should look like. Still a little loose. The grains have absorbed the liquid. The lobster is perfectly cooked. Just a little bit of broth in the bowl. Garnish with the tomato concasse. Bit of micro basil and a little bit of Malden salt. So there you have it, Maine lobster risotto with English peas and tomato concasse. Enjoy.